to Home and Away, a Tottenham Hotspur podcast hosted by myself, Graham Spice, and Glenn Cowie, where we talk all things Tottenham Hotspur with both the match attending and international supporters view. Glenn, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. International supporters viewpoint, it's been nice actually. We've got one early season one against Man City, but it's been nice to have these 9 and 9:30 p.m. kickoffs. So yeah, but broadly I'm good.
You've certainly had the better of the timings for the matches.
Yeah, Thursday night and Sunday night, and then Sunday night was the Newcastle game accompanied with. I've never done one of these. I've always done fantasy football, but I've never actually done a fantasy football that is a fantasy football draft. So if there's Haaland, only one of you gets him. So yeah, I accompanied the pre-season game against Newcastle with a draft, which was good. But yeah, how are you going, mate? You well?
Yeah, pretty good. Watched both the games, both the pre-season games. Second one it was at home. Like Josh was here, so we watched it together. First one was in the middle of my working day on.
Yeah, it's 12:30 for you, wasn't it?
And it was and I was hosting a call for work, and so I had my entire team on, and we were talking about something really important, obviously. And I was trying not to look, but I saw Sal score the goal, and I went absolutely mental, like I would normally. I caused quite a stir in the office.
Well, good segue. Why don't we can cover the Arsenal game, and then maybe we're not going to do this episode without a little piece on Sonny, but let's cover the Arsenal game first. In the we were chatting offline, weren't we? Not only the goal, because he definitely obviously meant it, great finish, but I thought his overall performance was really good.
He's had a really good pre-season. I think he's looked really bright
as well, because he was excellent in that final for the Europa League. He looks every bit the player that could slot in alongside Polinia, ahead of, in my opinion, Bentancur at the moment. I
think that's been the interesting thing in pre-season. He's the one that Bissouma and Bentancur. He's the one who's really shone much more than the other two, and he's been making excellent runs into the box.
Yeah,
and just running with the ball, progressing the ball has been he's been better, the best of the three, I would say. Bissouma hasn't played that much, I don't think, in comparison.
I think Bissouma will go. I think I can see him going. He might even go back to Brighton. There's
rumours about West Ham, right?
Yeah, West Ham maybe. And it's a funny one with him because we almost brought him off the back of the performance when he scored. Remember at the Spurs Stadium?
It's an awful thing to do, and they say never do that.
But he had he was good at Brighton, don't get me wrong, but he had a really good performance against us.
Yeah.
And it was better by him. But he's not hit the heights at all. And it's a shame. He's clearly a big character. He's clearly a well-liked player, from the other players, from the club. He seems like a genuinely good guy. He's just not been good enough.
No, but far from it.
Yeah, he's way off a bit.
He's unreliable, and that you can't have that. Especially if you look at it's a player that's going to be playing a shielding role in front of the back four.
Yeah,
he needs to be reliable. But
to be clear, he did excellently in the Europa League final. He did have a good game.
Yeah, but it's not the games where he plays well. It's the ones. It's the other ones where he drops a bollock about once every 4 games. He'll give the ball away cheaply, and then there'll be an on goal because we've pushed. It's 2-on-2 or something like that. Yeah. I won't be. I bear no ill will to him, but I won't really. He's not one of those players that you'll miss, is he? I don't think he's a bit of a character around the dressing room, but we need more than that.
Yeah, we'll see where this goes with him. But here, I don't see him in a Spurs shirt for too much longer. But the game itself, obviously, you mentioned you had both eyes on it, even though you were working in the meeting. I was able to watch. It was 9:30 for me. Well, we hit the woodwork 3 times. One from a corner, Porro's corner, which was mad.
Yeah, there's that one. Was from the other side where it hit the underside of the crossbar, didn't it, and came out? I think.
Yeah. Brooke, I thought the game itself, as I maintained, it was an odd fixture for a pre-season, right? Because you never, and this is both sides, you're never going to probably go into that game, either of the teams are not going to go into that too lightly. So you risk injury. Ironically, the injury that we're going to talk about later happened in the Newcastle game. But you've got Porro pushing Arteta.
Yeah, that was awesome. That reminded me of Højbjerg doing it a couple of seasons ago.
I was like, what's he doing? Get back in your technical area. He's got every right to
get back in your box.
Yeah. But
I thought that Kudus had Miles Skelly on toast, didn't he? The whole game. He really couldn't cope with him.
Yeah,
And it didn't make anything out of it really, but yeah, it was he really gave him a run around.
well, he's what I like about Kudus, just on the bits I've seen of him. He's not only tricky and got a trick in him and can beat a man, but he's very, very strong, even on
It's
the
hard to get off
ball.
the ball. Yeah,
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 very
sure.
strong. Which was really impressive to see. But it
And
should have been
we
more,
got
right? One
yeah,
nil
yeah,
didn't win.
yeah,
It should have been
exactly.
more.
But clean sheet as well, which was really important. I thought, and we worked for that in the second half as well, didn't we? Really hard. I felt like there's a lot
Yeah,
of people putting their bodies on the line at the back. Like Danso came on, didn't he? And he did his usual. It's like bringing on a wall.
yeah.
And I was really disappointed with Gyökeres when he came on. I don't know if maybe it's me, but he looked a bit. I don't know. I'm quite interested. He didn't look fit.
I don't think he looked fit. And I tell you what, take it for what it's worth. But there was some stat being rolled out that of his 37 goals in Portugal, only two of them were
We're not
against.
penalties.
Well, yeah, there's that. A lot of them were pens,
Didn't he
but
score
only two.
19 pens or something?
I think so. I think 18 or 19. But then only two goals of that 37 was scored against the top two in Portugal.
A
So,
flat
like,
track bully.
yeah, so everything else was
But
against.
Haaland can be a bit like that as well, though, can't
Yeah, he
he?
can. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. I mean, there's mixed views on him from the Arsenal fans. One player, and this isn't an Arsenal pod as we know, but there's it was, yeah, it was, who's the kid? Max Dowman?
Yeah, he's 15.
I tell you what, I was hoping to see more of him, ironically, like, because I've heard he's
Yeah.
English, he's obviously the next big thing, but he didn't really get much for the game. But look, overall, I thought the performance was a good performance. There was enough bite in it to suggest to me we wanted it. Long may it continue, right, into the season with that kind of mentality, that kind of setup. And also worth noting in the game itself, you're working with, I think the temperature was something like 34 Celsius still. And
Yeah, it was a lot. And the humidity's high, isn't it, as well?
Hong Kong's humidity is horrible. So I've not been, but I've been to Singapore, and it's very, very similar. And I think the humidity was like 95% or something. So they were doing water breaks. But look, overall, a weird friendly, but one
I think I saw a comment from Frank after the match about Kudus specifically. He said, I think he's really good today. His hold up play and the way he takes hold of the ball in tricky situations in his one-on-ones. He creates opportunities for the team was great. On top of that, I think he's worked extremely hard, and that was recovery runs from a set piece.
Yeah.
He was straining all the way back and won the ball back. So I think that's the thing, is that he's not a passenger. When we're out of possession, he's working for the team, and I like that. That's a good sign, I think, because I don't think he was doing that for West Ham, and that was one of the criticisms of them. So maybe he's just better motivated with us.
Yeah, quite possibly. And I thought, it's going to be interesting with our wide guys because you've got Tell, Odeberg, Kulusevski's injured, don't know when he's back.
Brennan Johnson.
And we get into this very, very shortly. Obviously, we have no Son and we've got no Mikey Moore.
Yeah.
Now, Mikey Moore's gone on loan to Rangers, so I think that's a really good move for him.
I think it's a good loan for him.
Yeah, I really do. I think the Scottish League is a league where it's good enough and hurly-burly enough to learn a bit and, grow a bit. But then also being in a Rangers team, you'd expect him to get minutes and also maybe be a part of quite a successful team in that league in terms of so it'd be interesting to see how
European
he goes.
football as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they've got
plenty of matches. They need a big squad, so he's definitely gonna get game time with them. Or you would think that there'd been some kind of commitment to get him on loan in the first place, but
yeah, absolutely. But look, before we get into the other pre-season game, which was played in Korea, we can't talk about that without talking about our Korean. For the game, I think we all had an inkling this might happen, but now I'm a bit gutted it has happened because it wasn't until you sent me a link to a lot of his goals, and he scored some absolute bangers, didn't he?
It's like there's not a bad one among them, is there? Yeah. He hardly scored any tap-ins. It was all bend it around the keeper from about 20 yards, coming in on the inside, and also both feet. He's done that from both sides of the pitch.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah.
So Heung-min Son
also the miss against Man City to make sure that Arsenal didn't win the league.
Can't forget that one. So Heung-min Son, after 10 years, moving on, started. He was born in am I going to pronounce this correct? Chun Chin in South Korea.
I'm not going to try and correct you because I have no
Yeah.
idea either. But
But
yes,
he was FC Seoul's a youth system, right? But then he was in the academy at Hamburg at 16. Right?
yeah.
So he left
So it's
Korea.
it's a young age to leave home and go and live in
But
another country like that, and not and he didn't. I'm assuming he didn't speak German when he moved there, in the same way he did speak English when he moved to England as
correct.
well. Pretty
But
impressive.
in pretty short order was in the first team, right, at Hamburg.
Yeah, by
18, yeah. 20 goals and 78 appearances. And then he obviously got the move to Leverkusen. And what's funny about the Leverkusen thing is, I don't know if you've seen, maybe you were the one that sent it to me, but I think Richard Cracknell done a retweet of it where we were in for Berahino.
Yeah,
Then
there's that sliding doors moment.
Yeah.
If we,
Shifted
what
our
would have
attention to
happened?
Son.
And at the time, everyone was like, "Who?"
Yeah, yeah. But 29 goals and 87 appearances at Leverkusen. And then, of course, attracted our interest. And, I mean, the rest is kind of history. But he wanted to leave, didn't he? After, was it less than a year? He wanted to leave.
Well, he took about a season for him to really settle. And actually, do you remember? I don't know if you remember if it's the first year or second year. We played Leverkusen in the Champions League at Wembley. I think it was at Wembley. Was it Wembley?
Yeah, it would have been.
And he was awful in that game. It was almost like, is he doing him a favour or something?
Yeah.
But I remember that going through. I've got so many memories, like the 2 goals he scored against Dortmund at Wembley when we beat them 3-1, I think it was. Mind you, the keeper had one of the worst keeping displays I've ever seen. But I think we were 1-0 up after about a minute. But he scored some absolute worldies.
Well,
the one against Chelsea, where he ran around the outside of all players and then curled it into the corner. Obviously the Puskás goal, the Burnley one.
You were at that game, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing about that game was that absolutely died. Was that Conte season? Was it Conte?
Would have been, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And honestly, we were so bad to watch. It was. I hated going. I actually didn't want to go, but I just decided at the last minute. Do you know what? I'm going to go. It's a day out, and I went on my own, and it was one of the best games of football we played. We won 5-1. And that goal, I'm so pleased I was there to see that in person. Really something special.
Phenomenal goal. And it goes a bit overlooked because we actually lost the game but won on aggregate. And it was a mad game. But the Man City away in Champions League, he actually had a really good game. Like, he scored the first goal for us. Then he just had a really almost complete performance. He did everything.
Yeah, it was. He scored 2 in the first half, didn't he?
He
was absolutely untouchable that game.
Yeah,
and obviously, don't forget that he scored the goal in the first game as well.
Yeah,
and that was the "Do you know who I am?" goal.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Because I think Pep had been
a Harry Kane
called
team.
us the Harry Kane team. Yeah, and then of course Kane was out injured. And he did them again anyway. I remember for the first game, the game at White Hart Lane, was at the new stadium, wasn't it? It was that first season at the new stadium. I was row 6 behind the goal for both the Lloris penalty save,
and the goal,
and for Son's goal. So that was amazing match, that one. I remember that one very well. And I also remember the rubber bands from the Tifosi, all 17,000 of them being pinged at the goalkeeper, which was quite amusing. But yeah, so like he's been involved in some of my fondest Tottenham memories, really, in the last 10 years. Amazing.
I'll put it in the room. Bigger legend than Kane for you?
I think as someone who'd never attempted to leave the club in any circumstances and doubled down on it when Kane left, he signed a new contract, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I think actually his achievement to be the third highest had the third highest goal contributions of any player in the Premier League ever. Third highest is nuts.
Yeah.
So in that 10 years, in that period. So it's just behind Salah and Kane. They're the only 2 ahead of him in that period, his period in the Premier League.
It's the loyalty, isn't it?
Yeah, and also he's a
lost
model professional. He's absolutely a model professional and genuinely a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice man.
You can't find a single person to say a bad thing about him. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You've only got to see the Newcastle squad when he was subbed off, and then also at the end of the match as well. They were not a person in either of the squads or in the management setups didn't go over and congratulate him. That's really something.
I think for him, it was the perfect ending to being in Seoul and in front of his people, all
Yeah.
Tottenham fans. I'm a little bit gutted that
Oh,
the
I
fans
wish we
in
could have done
England, yeah.
home
But
testimonial.
given
Maybe
he's
we
done
can.
10
Maybe
years,
against LAFC.
I wondered that. Given he's done 10 years, he should and he will get something at the stadium as far as a game.
I'm
You would
hoping
hope.
they put that in the contract.
I would
They have to
love
come
to
over
see
because they. When's the season start for MLS? It's like, is it like winter or now? It's on now.
March.
Is it?
So March to November, essentially,
Okay.
is how it works. So
So
I was actually looking at the fixtures for LA. He's got 13 regular league games left. And then if they make playoffs, which they should, he could go into early December. So there's some games left to play. I'm a bit disappointed that we didn't do what we did with Lloris and then just have him go in January and start off fresh in the new season. But there we
yeah.
are. But like you said, we could see an opportunity for LAFC to play Spurs. I'd love to see him play for both teams, one in each half.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
I'm a bit gutted
I,
now he's gone. It was one of those things I'm like,
yeah.
oh,
It's
I was
kind. It
expecting
felt,
it.
like, and I think I
Yeah,
said it a couple of episodes ago that I wouldn't be surprised if he went after this match. So because I felt like there would be contractually they were probably obliged for him to be in Korea. Do you know I felt really sorry for Yang Min Hook
yeah,
because for him it was a big thing for him, right, as well, to go back and play in that national stadium in front of 64,000 people
100%.
in his own country as well. But he actually, when he came on, he looked quite tidy. I thought he looked.
Yeah, he's a good player, and yeah, look, good segue. We're covering to the Newcastle game in a little more detail, but look, before we do move on, he doesn't listen, but a big thank you from both of us, I think, for Sonny's memories. You know, the goals,
Yeah.
contribution to the team, the desire, the care. Like Tottenham means an awful lot to him. So amazing player, and he will be missed.
And I think the one thing I will say as well is that I think that 1 in 4 people in Korea are Tottenham fans.
Yeah,
That's a mad statistic, right? 1 in 4. So I think it's 16 million people. So there's 4 million Tottenham fans in Korea.
it's mental. It's absolutely
So,
mental.
but what I really think as well is, and I think that they're all Tottenham fans because of Son. But I think a lot of that will stay. Because if you looked at the airport when they all arrived, there was
Like
just as many other shirts like Madison, and I saw Porro and all these other shirts, and people wanting them to get signed and meet the other players as well. So I feel like they came for Son, but they'll stay for Tottenham. Like eventually, I'm just going to say, like, sometimes I feel guilty about forcing my kids to be Tottenham fans. No, I didn't really force them, but you know what I mean. They didn't really have a choice. He's made a whole country support Tottenham.
Yeah.
So like, how must he feel about that?
Yeah. No, 100%. But and look, to cover off on removing the emotion and all of that from it, obviously it's 10 years and all that, but it leaves a number 7 shirt to be filled. It leaves 200 grand in wages that we can put on somebody else. So it leaves a left-sided attacker or a central attacker. So do you think that we go all out and just get a blockbuster replacement, or do you think Mikey Moore goes and does this season in Rangers and he's the guy next season? 'Cause he'd still only be 18, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he will. So my thoughts are, do you know what the perfect solution is? A Grealish loan for a year.
I did think the same, because he brings not only obviously a solution on
Because
the
he can
left,
play as a 10 or on the left,
10,
right?
and he also brings a wealth of experience.
English as well.
Champions League, English.
And he might appreciate getting some game time ahead of a World Cup as well. Try and get himself back in the England setup.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Because he's completely out of it at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a good shout. It's a good shout, and he solves 2 problems, and he's obviously
exactly the kind of player we need, right? We need someone with experience. We keep saying we want these experienced players. Was he 31? He's not old, is he?
Similar to.
I feel like that would be. Remember, there's other options, but it feels like it fulfills more than one requirement for us, right? You can play on as an 11 or as a 10.
He's 29.
Oh, is he? Feels like he's been around forever, so that's even better, right? So even if we sign him for a same kind of thing as with Palhinha, right, as loan with an option,
yeah,
I think that would be a really good solution to a short-term issue, and then it allows us more time for succession planning. See if Mikey Moore is ready when he comes back.
It's a good point. And then covering off on the Newcastle game, that obviously the big story that came out of it, regardless of the goal that we scored in the game. I thought Harvey Barnes' goal for them was really good, by the way.
That was a great goal.
Yeah,
you can just sometimes you just got to say he's a
yeah,
good player. I really rate him.
yeah,
He'd
yeah,
be a
good player.
great acquisition, but I don't think we could get him. He'd be too
No,
expensive.
but Brennan Johnson obviously scored for us. The finish itself was fine, but the build-up play
It was
was quite good.
deflected. It was
Yeah, the
deflected,
build-up
but yeah,
play was
yeah.
decent. But then the thing that came out of that game, and no one was near him, and it's all
Just completely under no pressure at all, wasn't
you know,
it?
it
It was,
reminded me of? It reminded me of Michael Owen in 2006 World Cup, where no player around him and it just goes. Like,
yeah.
it's an ACL. I don't know if there's,
Oh
I've
yeah.
not really looked, but if it's an ACL, which it looks like it probably is, that's 9, 10 months, isn't it?
He's out for the season, really, isn't he?
Yeah. And that's a real shame for him because we've all had our views on Maddison. But if he can give us a solid 7 or 8 out of 10 every week, again, you talk about World Cup year, he could have started to stake a claim as well.
I think with him, we are never better than when he is playing well. So
Yeah.
when he's at his best, the team is at its best. And I think the criticism we've had of him is that he just doesn't do that often enough. So he has very high peaks but very low troughs. Yeah. And I know Thomas will listen to this and he'll be quite angry with me because he has a very different view. He still thinks he's the best consistent player we've got in the team, although I don't agree with that.
I don't.
But I'm not dismissing he's got the skill, he's got the ability, but I just don't think that we see it often enough, which is a shame because he makes a difference. He really does.
For me, I don't question his work ethic. I don't think he's lazy. I don't question that he cares. I think he clearly cares. Like, he loves Spurs. I mean, there was footage on social media of him during preseason wearing like old retro shirts while he's laid by the pool. Like, he loves Spurs.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
getting that. It's just getting that, for me, consistent extra 10-15% out of him every week. But it's all a bit of a moot point because he ain't going to be there every week. He's going to be on the sidelines for a long time, which is a real shame.
Yeah, and I think it probably completely changes our transfer window, right? Because we were probably focused on other areas, and also now I'm not sure when Solanke's going to be back either.
Yeah,
you know, I feel like and Udogie, right? So I feel like it shows the weaknesses in our squad again already, right? We haven't even finished pre-season yet, and we've lost our first choice left back and our first choice striker and the backups. I suppose for me, I know we've got Ben Davies, but I think that Jed Spence is better at left back than he is at right back for us at the moment.
Well, I think,
So we've got cover.
It's going to be interesting. You say about transfer window, there's only really, we've got what? Is it the 31st of August it closes? The challenge we've got with it closing in the 31st of August is we've got a really big game on the 14th or the 13th of August. Yeah, Super Cup. Currently, in current state, if we pick a team with what we've got available to us, my fear is that we'd
have to put the wagons in the circle.
Yeah, well, this is it. Unless we just play two big lines and just hold on.
And just hope for a break.
Yeah.
It doesn't, because it will be Richarlison up front.
You would think.
If Udogie's not fit, then it'll probably be Jed Spence and Porro as fullbacks. Centre backs choose themselves, assume we don't.
Unless they play free, unless he goes free, Danso, VDV, and Romero.
It's possible.
Yeah, he could do that.
But then we really have nothing behind a striker, right? We don't have a 10 unless Jamie Donnelly plays there, but he's being touted around for a loan already. So he's one of the guys on the loan list. Yeah.
But just
he's the only one who's actually a 10, really, isn't he? I guess
100%. Yeah. Covering off on the Newcastle game, just finishing up with, look, even though it was Newcastle, I expected more of this in the Arsenal game, but there was like crazy stuff with Guimaraes grabbing Romero by the throat and then Linton once again getting away with another elbow. Like, he's doing that all the time.
Yeah.
So he elbowed Archie Gray. I mean, so it was.
I think the other thing that really stood out for me is Archie Gray had a really great game.
Yeah,
in more of a kind of 8 role, like a sort of box to box player, but he was really effective, and I thought he looked really bright, which was great because obviously he hasn't had a lot of chance to play in midfield, and now he's had a couple of games in pre-season, and this was probably his best performance in that position for me.
And that's a good way to move into maybe the recent transfer news. Where do you think Gray fits? Because you've got Sarr playing really well, not just in pre-season, by the way. He's continued to play well since that final. He had a really good game. Then you've got, obviously, Archie Gray, who we've just mentioned. We've got Bentancur. Basuma, we think, is going to move. And then you've got the new signing, Polina. Polina plays every week for me.
Yes.
He's a ready-made, right? We know what he brings. I think in the 2 seasons with Fulham, he had like more tackles than any other
Yeah.
defensive mid.
It wasn't by a little bit either. It was like he had
It's
like
by a long stretch.
300 and they had like 200. It was the next biggest one.
So he's
He's
nailed on.
literally,
Right?
yeah.
He's first name on the team sheet.
But the good thing about that is he's so good that I think you can afford to have a more attack-minded partner with him, somebody who's a ball carrier. In fact, I think you need it because of all the weaknesses in his game, like the things that Thomas always points out, which is why Thomas is fairly negative about him. Is that he thinks that for a team like Fulham, where they don't have as much of the ball, having someone who's going to be a destroyer is much more important than us, where we'll probably have a lot more of the ball, so that his weaknesses in distribution would be more visible, I guess. I think that's his logic behind the reason he didn't think it was a good idea that we get him. I think that you can maybe you can make it up in the. It's a bit like a money ball, right? So we need one really good defensive midfielder, but we can maybe build it out of two. So one that's got good distribution and one that's just going to destroy everything.
Yeah, I mean, I had Bentancur down to potentially be vice captain or captain, like given his kind of seniority and how long he's been around. But maybe that changes. Maybe he doesn't get as many minutes as I think he will. So yeah. So obviously,
I heard something interesting today. You'll like this.
Yeah.
Of the first team squad, I'm not including Brandon Austin in this because I still don't think he's first team squad. Right? Who's the second longest standing player after Ben Davies? I was so shocked when I heard.
Well, it wouldn't be Romero, would it? No.
No.
I don't know when we signed him. Oh, Brian Hill?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wondered,
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
Which technically
is it about 4 years, is it? So he must be about 4 years?
Yeah, that's mad. That is mad. Considering the little football that he's played.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely played more games in Spain than he has in England.
Yeah, no, for sure.
On our dime.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Paulinho's in the door, and these links won't go away. Rodrigo at Real Madrid as Son's replacement.
They're talking about an £87 million bid. That feels like a real statement. And if we did it, I mean, no one could ever say anything again about the club, could they, not being ambitious?
Yeah, I mean...
My worry is, right, there's no point in bidding 87 million, then offering him 150 grand a week. So he's probably on 300 grand at PSG, right? Or something like that. So this could be... But then that changes everything. If we're willing to pay that for a player, like the top teams in Europe are paying for players' salaries, does it then mean that everyone else we've got? Maybe this is the opportunity. Like if we put someone on that kind of money, the next person in the door to complain about what they're being paid should be Romero. Yeah. And if Romero wants more money, then maybe this is an opportunity to tie him down to a longer term contract as well.
That's the pivot, isn't it? Like we've got to be serious about paying the wages if we want the players.
And if we want to compete, that's the issue's never been the salary. The transfer fees. It's been the salaries. Because there's been players that we could have picked up on a free, but we just could never have afforded to pay the salaries that they wanted.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've watched it yet, but the Levy Gary Neville interview.
I haven't yet. No.
Yeah, quite interesting. I won't spoil it for you, but he put it this way: he touches on transfer fees, but doesn't touch on wages, which I think is quite strategic. The interview itself,
the edit was good.
I quite like Gary Neville. I think he does a pretty good job, but you never know with those types of things if there's Levy and the club on the outset have said, right, these topics are off limits. This is what you can ask.
I did feel, from what I've heard, that I think Neville had a bit of an agenda to push as well in terms of EFL club ownership. Like there was a big.
I'll be interested to get your take on it because there was things mentioned about Levy was on board with as Gary Neville was with mandatory relegation clauses in players' contracts for it to be offset. If you go down, then your wages go down, and then that can help trickle down to stop these clubs going out of business. Anyway, I digress, but it's quite an interesting watch.
Yeah.
Again, you never know.
Oh, there was a lot of talk about parachute payments, wasn't there? I think.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just never know with that type of a thing if how much of it was pre-scripted. Neville interrupted him a few times, but. Levy
that's all right. He'll end up in a pool full of sharks by the end of the afternoon.
I also do wonder how much of a poke in the eye was it from Levy to Marinakis to say, "Oh, you've banned this guy from your club. We're going to welcome him into ours." To have a.
There's also the use of the. Did you see the Paulinho interview?
Yes, yes, no backward steps.
which again, it feels like another.
Another dig. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, have you
Well,
seen? Also, that we always win. Was it what he said? Wasn't it? I
yeah,
think Marinakis. They haven't won a
yeah,
game yet in pre-season, by the way.
yeah. It's well, I called him the hostage, but on my draft on Sunday night, I did get Gibbs White. I said I'll take in the hostage. I'm glad I got him in because I still think he'd do quite
I
well there.
still think he's to blame. I mean,
Yeah, I
if
don't
he wanted
disagree.
to move, he could have moved,
Well,
but
but
he
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 had a
allowed him
medical
to strong
set.
arm him to stay.
Yeah, he had a medical set. I mean, he hasn't behaved like Isaac has, but still, it's
Yeah,
he obviously wanted the move because he had the medical set and he had personal terms agreed.
yeah,
I mean, you don't go from that to then loving Nottingham Forest again. So I think he'll still get a move, and I think it will happen in a year. And I don't know where it go. It
yeah.
might even happen in January, not for us, but maybe for somebody else.
Maybe, maybe. I doubt it though because it'll be probably now they'll want 80 or more, won't they?
I think so.
And they
Attacking
probably
midfield replacement for Madison as well. You've got Eze. That rumor doesn't go away, but then Arsenal.
well, Arsenal have been stalling on that for a long time though, haven't they? So
Yeah,
I'm
but
wondering whether they've.
the release clause expire on August 15th.
Oh, does
He
it?
has a release clause. Yeah, I think it expires, and then
Is it about 67? Is that the rumor?
think so. 768
Which
from
I
Palace.
don't think
Yeah,
that's bad money for him.
I don't think.
But my worry is, if we really wanted him, would we not have pushed a bit harder for him already? Does Frank want a different player? I don't know.
I mean, time will tell, I guess, on that one. So
Yeah.
I need another one, by the way, that I got in my draft. So maybe he'll be in a Spurs shirt by the time he kicks off. But yeah, I mean, and the other one,
Harvey Elliott's the other one that's been floating
Elliott, yeah.
around.
Which does he get many minutes at Liverpool? He does.
No,
play.
I think that's one of the reasons he wants to move on, right? I think he's looking for consistent playing time somewhere.
Well,
And I think
maybe
he's
with
good
the
enough to
players-
play in a good team. Just whether he's good enough to does he elevate our team? Probably
Yeah.
good. He's probably good enough to elevate the squad, but I'm not 100% sure is he better? Is he as good as or better than Madison?
He's 22, so
That helps. And he's
Yeah.
not injured currently, which is, as a prerequisite, that's a pretty good one at the moment.
No, correct. But then you'd sent me something which we share is we've made it seems Vuskovic, Donnelly, Lancashire apparently going to Oxford, George Abbott, Min Hook, Tyrese Hall, Alfie Devine and Dane Scarlett in terms of being made available for loan, it seems.
Tyrese Hall's already gone. He's signed for Notts County. So we'll have eyes on that loan again. Thomas was really happy because he still thinks he's probably the best under 21 player that we've got at the club. He really likes him. So I think he'll probably try and see a few games with his friend James. So I'll get some good feedback, see how he's getting on up there. I think he's a great player as well. So that'll be interesting.
And then I was somewhat surprised that Vuskovic wasn't being given till January, given that the new Japanese centre-half we've got in is injured. I thought.
Well, the other thing I've heard rumours have been going out to Germany as well, to Hamburg, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly an absolute unit and is a very non-conventional centre-half because he scores a lot and he seems to put himself about, but not score with like headers and things. He actually got an hell of a shot on him.
I guess the question is, would he get enough game time? Because he's not playing ahead of Danso, Van der Ven and Romero, right? And then probably Dragusin when he's back, probably. But he's not back till early next year, probably, I think. Or next year, whether early or not. February, maybe.
There's your metric for Maddison because he had the same injury if it's ACL, didn't he?
Yeah. So, and he's been out since, when was it, January?
The other thing about, like, just going back to transfer targets and players that we might get in for replacements and things, no one saw the Gibbs White one happening, right? Like, it wasn't like it was. It wasn't like it was spoken about in any gossip or any media outlets. It just kind of went, bang, we're going in for him. So maybe we see another one happen like that.
It could be, but I think the longer the window goes on, the players who are going to move are probably already, and also, even if we want a specific player, if that club's already done business and they don't need or want to sell, then we make it harder for ourselves again, right? Because the only way to get players out of situations like that is to pay over the odds, and it's not exactly our modus operandi, is it? Yeah, we're not keen on overpaying, but
no, absolutely.
We need. I reckon we need four more squad players, 4 more players. We need a 10. I mean, my priority first call would be a new left back, left winger to replace Son, and a striker.
someone to put a bit of pressure on Solanke or actually come in and.
I'm happy to, if we get someone new in, I'd be happy to let Richarlison go
Well,
if we
I
wanted to
mentioned
make up
it
the
to a
money.
few here on a group I'm in, and a lot said no way, he's shit. But Højlund apparently is available for 30 million from Man United. I think with the Danish connection, I think there's a player in there as well. I really do. And he's only 22. Like, if he's happy to play bit part and not be the main guy, maybe that's exactly what his career needs. Whether it happens or not, there's no rumours, but maybe we do have a little sniff and see if we can get him in the door.
Yeah,
I don't think it'd be a bad addition.
He's got Premier League experience at least, even if it isn't
he's
all
not been great.
great.
But,
No.
Yeah, indeed. And then we've got another friendly to look to. Bayern Munich away, which is on weirdly at like 5:30 p.m. on a Thursday in England. Yeah, because it's early hours of Friday morning for me, which is 5:30 p.m. in the UK. So that's 6:30 in Germany. Weird time.
It is a bit of early, isn't it?
And it's away. So obviously, I just wonder if this was all tied into Harry Kane's deal. Because that's the second time now.
Maybe, yeah. I think we're back, aren't we? The players are all back this morning, I think.
Yeah, they're back, and then it'll be Germany, and then it's Germany on the Thursday, then back, I assume, then off to Italy. I assume they'll travel out Tuesday morning.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a bit of a crazy... There's a shitload of air miles in this pre-season, wasn't there? Hong Kong, Korea, back to the UK...
Germany.
Off to Germany, back to the UK, off to Italy, back to the UK, up to Burnley.
Yeah.
Burnley's going to be a bit of a letdown after that, isn't it, really?
Oh, it's Burnley at home, isn't it? It's not away.
Yeah. No, it's true. Sorry, it's a home game. You're right.
Home game, But no, well, I'm not going to even put a prediction on the Bayern Munich game or who we pick. I'd just be interested to see. Paulinho will probably play, but then who plays in number 10?
I think we'll play... I think what you'll see is a team that will be pretty much what we line up with in Italy, because I think it's a game where we have to put out a team to try and win it, right? So maybe it won't be as flair as we would have liked with no number 10, not one to speak of anyway, unless we make another signing between now and that match, which is possible. But then not a lot of time to bed new players in. But Paulinho, I'm not too worried about, because you basically tell him stand in the middle of the pitch and tackle everyone is pretty much his training instructions. So
he hits the ground running. But it'd be interesting. Yeah, not a whole lot else from me, mate, other than wishing Sonny all the very best. It looks like it is LAFC. I'll be getting 15 million for him. I think we're getting
something like that. I've heard, yeah,
which is right.
Which is okay, and that's decent money.
And it's off the wage.
Well, it's the 200 grand a week, which we could spend on another player. If we want to bring someone like Grealish in, he'd probably be at least that, I'd have thought, wouldn't he?
You'd imagine so.
Depends on whether it's a buy or a loan, I guess. Whether, I don't know what Man City's position is on him, whether they want him gone permanently or whether they'll be happy to take a loan with an option.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm hoping those kind of discussions are happening as we speak.
You'd hope so. He seems the obvious, but then again, this club sometimes doesn't do what the obvious is.
True. Yeah.
We'll
see.
But
who's the guy at Middlesbrough, the young guy that a lot of people have been sniffing around? I forget his name now.
Not sure.
It's a defensive midfielder.
Is he English?
Yes.
Hackney.
That's him. Hayden Hackney or something?
Hayden Hackney, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's apparently the next big up and coming thing up there. He looks half decent, and there's quite a few clubs sniffing around him.
23.
Tyler Dibbling has been. He's 35 mil, which is not bad money considering they was talking stupid money last season when they were 100 mil they wanted for him. So that still feels a lot for a relatively untested player. But again, you're paying for it's the English tax and the potential tax as well, isn't it? I guess.
No, indeed. Well, onwards. Let's see what the Bayern Munich game brings. And then before we know it, we're into which you'll hear from us again and see us again before the big Super Cup, Charity Shield of European football, as I'll call it. It's one that we don't really care if we lose, but if we win it, amazing, another trophy.
It's a bit like the North London Derby in Hong Kong, right? It's a friendly, no one gives a shit unless we win it, and then it's the most important thing in the world.
Yeah. Exactly. But as always from me, come on you Spurs.
Yeah, thanks for everyone who's listened in. Please like and subscribe to the podcast to tickle the algorithm so we can get in front of more Tottenham supporters. And to close us out, come on you Spurs.
Let me be the one that you turn to, someone you can rely on, closer each day. Home and away.